You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. Movie musings for mostly everybody. Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I am your hunk again.
I'm Doge, and really let that seep in. What are you getting? Because to me, that's part chunk smell, and the other part is really bad chunk smell. I don't know why, but overall, it just smells like the color brown. Your thoughts?
Smells like the color brown is such a good line.
And I'm Carter, and
Go. Live your dream.
I will.
Your dream, Chunks. I was talking to her.
That was
Hey,
not
tell us.
bad. Not a bad Brad Garrett, by the way.
I've never tried a Brad Garrett. It just was like, this is going to be a low boy. Low voice.
A deep.
I had to just, I guess, no, this counts as one of his dizzes. This boy is
Sure
like
does,
an octuple.
Yeah, he's in
Dizzer.
everything. They're putting him on everything.
I mean,
He's
can
like
you
Mike's Hot
blame
Honey.
them?
Not bad on anything.
Speaking of like streaks
cereal,
here.
Yeah.
Speaking of streaks, tell me about this hunkdom here.
Look,
J1?
He hasn't
I-
told us about this, by
Yeah,
the way.
they don't know
Listeners,
this.
direct address to you who were in your ears. We don't know why.
This will be
This
one of
is-
those popular reaction videos on YouTube.
What?
Everyone
The
else
screenshot will
knows
just be
why,
me
but
with my
us.
mouth
And we're just
open.
like, oh, I've never heard. Today
Yeah,
I'm going to
the-
be listening to Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey. It's like, bro, that came out 8 years ago. You're telling me this is the first time you've heard about this? And you're a
this
vocal coach?
This
You liar.
indie band called Queen. They have this underground sleeper hit called Bohemian Rhapsody. I've never
They
heard it
evidently
before.
had a
Let's see.
show. They were at a live show.
Hey, I loved those videos for a little bit that those two twin brothers did where they
I liked
reacted to stuff
those.
they hadn't heard. I
Yes.
loved those. Their energy was fantastic. No, so I'm the hunk for, it's sort of an abstract reason. I told the guys it's up for debate. They're welcome to veto once they hear the story, but I don't think they'll want to. So if you had to design my perfect nightmare weekend, I lived it.
You were underwater?
I was underwater with sharks. No, I had
Okay.
to.
No Zelda anywhere around.
No, there was no Zelda as far as I don't talk about Zelda nearly as much as this podcast makes it seem like I do, but that's okay. No, I had to travel someplace in the rain on a Friday. I had to travel again in the rain the following day. So all of it's just rain bums me out. So I was just like, ugh, the whole time. It was Houston, so it was muggy. It was hot. And on Saturday, we had to go to an outdoor rainy Houston wedding. I say Houston.
Cool.
It was about an hour and a half north of Houston. So it was in the middle of nowhere, in the woods. And by the time we got there, it had been raining so long that the final 3.5 miles that were supposed to be a dirt road were sort of a mud slop pit road.
A slurry.
And that's
Like
not a random number I
okay.
pulled out. It was 3.5 miles of mud. Cars
Cool.
got stuck. Rhonda the Honda, she made it. She was okay.
What a classy gal.
Believe
I
it or
knew
not.
she'd do it.
She knows what's up. Like, people don't think she knows, but she knows. But I got to this wedding. Like I said, it was muggy. It was a wedding on Callie's end of the spectrum, so I didn't really know a lot of people there. So I was just sort of just like
Gotta love it.
posted up. Outdoor bathrooms, like an outhouse situation. So it was just sort of my nightmare. Then we get to our seats. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to go support the happy couple, whatever. It's not the matrimony that bothers
Whatever.
me.
I hope they listen to this podcast.
I don't think there's any chance.
Okay.
But if they do, I'm happy for their matrimony, but it's just the day itself. So anyway, we're at the seats and the groom walks up, the bridal party walks up, the music stops. Everybody knows what that means. So we all turn and look. There's 2 double doors set in the grass for her to open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. John Mayer's gonna come bust him down.
Sure, yeah. They're in his high school.
Yeah.
Now, the music stops, everybody turns, and I can kind of actually see the bride from my angle behind the doors a little bit. And the pretty song that the bride is supposed to walk down the aisle to is about to come on.
Yeah.
I assume the DJ is someone's cousin Derek,
Yeah.
who has iTunes and slapped play button and said, man, I did a great job. And then I have to assume full sprinted in any given direction away from said laptop, because at full blast through the speakers, instead of the song the bride was supposed to walk down the aisle to, all everybody hears is, and we're going to have to bleep this out, I apologize.
That's okay.
Listen to this track, and then... Girl, where you moving? Got me in a trance. DJ, turn it up. Music, make a dance. And it got all the way to, girl, drop it to the floor. Love the way that booty go. Like all the way. It was, I timed it. That's at least 26 seconds of the song that played. Full blast. Full blast this song plays. That's No Hands by Waka Flocka Flame if you're keeping track at home.
So what are you doing for that? That's half a minute. What are you doing?
Are people trying not to laugh, or how can you try not to laugh?
So I feel bad. I broke the laugh barrier because
Oh no, dude.
I know the song. So all it took was listen, and then I immediately like, you know those laughs where you're like, oh, like
No,
that?
I was literally about to do that. I was like, that's how I pictured you.
Yes. And then Callie grabbed my knee. So I was like, keep it cool. But then I looked and she was laughing. And then everybody started to laugh. And I could see the bride and her. I've never seen a chin hit the floor for real. But she was just like mouth agape. And it played for a long time before. And they didn't even pause it. They like radio faded it out. At the end.
Why?
Love the commitment to just maintain the illusion.
Yeah.
Just
and then
can't ever pull anybody out of the experience.
They started another wrong song after that. It was a pretty one at least, but they started another wrong song. And then they finally started the correct song and she walked down the aisle. But
Could you see the DJ booth?
No.
Dude, it feels like you're an extra in a rom-com. It feels like you're just one of the people, and this is the ex who's coming back to have one last shot at trying to ruin this moment so that he can come sweep her off her feet.
DJ, here's $20. Please play our song.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. It didn't make everything about that drive worth it. But man.
Oh, that's good. That's Hunkdom for sure.
It helped.
Wow. That's powerful.
That's really funny.
It was really great. I'll never forget it for as long as I live.
Oh no, I hope they don't listen.
So yeah, that's why I'm the hunk. I felt, like I said, I felt pretty powerfully about it.
I'll grant that to you.
Thank
That's
you.
good.
I appreciate
I
it.
love that we still had the opportunity because you gave it to us to just veto this, and we would have to just start over with someone
we'd have to
else's
just do it
story
again.
right now.
We'd have to just do it again.
Yeah, I approve this. I approve this Hunkdom.
I approve this Hunk.
That's huge for me. I appreciate that, guys. The other thing that I would love to have your approval to do is go ahead and talk about the movie, the fourth movie in our Pixar series, voted on by you, the listeners. And that movie is, of course, Tangled.
The one-word movie titles always get me a little anxious.
They're tough.
when we do that.
There's no
together.
build-up.
I always, if it's the one word thing, I always end up slipping into the Dean from Community.
Yep.
And just be like, Tangled.
Tangled. Dini Vini Vinci. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. Doge, it would be an honor if you would give us a synopsis.
Of course I will give you a synopsis. You shouldn't even have to ask. This week's IMDb synopsis was written by Douglas Young, whose username appears to be the-movie-guy. So this is the guy,
Whoa,
the
one.
movie guy. We got him, and he reviewed this. He left us a synopsis, and he says, after receiving the healing powers from a magical flower, the baby Princess Rapunzel is kidnapped from the palace in the middle of the night by Mother Gothel. Mother Gothel knows that the flower's magical powers are now growing within the golden hair of Rapunzel, and to stay young, she must lock Rapunzel in her hidden tower. Rapunzel is now a teenager, and her hair has grown to a length of 70 feet. The beautiful Rapunzel has been in the tower her entire life, and she is curious of the outside world. One day, the bandit Flynn Rider scales the tower and is taken captive by Rapunzel. Rapunzel strikes a deal with the charming thief to act as her guide to travel to the place where the floating lights come from that she has seen every year on her birthday. Rapunzel is about to have the most exciting and magnificent journey of her life.
Wow.
I'll say.
The two descriptors I would use are certainly exciting and magnificent.
I'm not trying to spoil anything,
Yeah.
But it appears that picks aren't picks are best served with the fantasy landscape.
Sure.
Our top half are all this kind of story. It is all in just a cookie cutter version of a fantasy landscape.
Yeah.
And one of the first things, so I saw this movie. It was my dad and I, and then my mom and one of her friends. And we'll get to a certain.
Trying to set you up.
It was a fun time, yeah. But
With your mom's friend.
2010 is interesting because 2010 had like Toy Story 3, and then it had like Despicable Me and Tangled. So this is one of those where, we start to get into the teens, and animated films have been around for a while. There's little kids running around that have only ever known that Pixar or something adjacent existed.
Yeah. Right.
And to be honest, this movie didn't feel like it had a ton of hype when it was coming out. And I remember leaving that theater and just even outside of it being an animated movie, just enjoyed it as a movie.
Yeah.
All of a sudden too, I think because we have so many animated movies in the repertoire, it's just like you start viewing them a lot of the times and the story seems to be held to more of a high standard for me. And lucky for the animated movie world, like we had hits to start. Like we had really good movies to start and good stories. But there comes a point to where it's just like, I feel like I'm leaning more into the narrative than I thought. And Tangled did not disappoint.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't think this is that spicy, but like this is so much better than Frozen. I don't understand why Frozen got the sequel, got the hype, got the stage play. Like this movie feels the most like an animated stage musical.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're comparing Frozen, Tangled, Moana, Frozen is the bottom of those, I think.
I think so
I think
too.
it's easily the worst out of the three of those.
I think so too.
I don't know why. I think because it had Olaf. I honestly think it's Olaf, and kids are wild about that icy guy.
It's Olaf and it's Let It Go with Idina Menzel. Like it really, like, and that song's great. It's a pop song though, like this movie feels, did Alan Menken also do Frozen?
He did not.
I don't think so.
I think he's the secret sauce maybe
He's
an
the
actual
secret sauce that makes it feel like Disney.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a Disney musical.
The man has won 8 Oscars. We're talking Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas. Like he does it, man. He's definitely got his thumb on that Disney feel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's just on another level than to other composers when it comes to this style, I think.
I want to super dump early and just throw it out there to see if it sticks.
Okay.
Because I fully expect that there's a possibility that y'all might say this doesn't count, right? It feels like an unfair super dump. And so I'm going to have to reevaluate. So I need to get it out there
There's
now.
a lot of this going around today.
I think it's egregious that this movie was not nominated for Best Animated Film.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't know if that can count as a super dump in the way that
that's what I'm struggling with.
Our episode is built, but I dump on it regardless, and maybe I'll need to just find another super dump. But we had Toy Story 3, which
that's
won.
a fine dump.
Toy Story 3, How to Train Your Dragon, and then The Illuminationist or something, The Illuminist. So there were only 3 animated movies, and there were more than 3 animated movies coming out. Like, we talk about Toy Story, there wasn't even a category at that point. So it got its own Oscar just because it existed. And then it's just kind of like, okay, now we've got 3 here. The Academy, for some reason, for animated movies and just for now for Best Picture, are always, the rules are different every year. But why did we just do 3? Why was Tangled not even considered as a Best Animated Picture?
It's so I'm going to say that doesn't count as a super dump only because
that's fine.
I don't think your super dump can be this movie rules.
Yeah.
It's better than people think it is.
I feel that. I'll find
I'm
another.
actually
I think
confident.
it's a fine dump.
I'm confident that at some point I have super dumped that I like a movie way more than everyone else on the entire planet.
Really?
I'm like about 80% sure that that's been my super dump at least once.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not listening to us for accuracy.
No.
It's for the cold, hard facts. No, I agree with you though, man. This movie, this is something special. And if I may, besides Alan Menken, I do know there are 4 ingredients to this particular stew. Each vital, each delicious, and each reliant upon one another to create a sum greater than its parts.
You talking about including Menken, or he's not even a part of the 4?
He's not even a part of Menken is the bowl in which the stew is poured into.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
what are we
You know what I
cooking
mean?
with?
I think I could guess 2.
Yeah, Mandy Moore, Zachary Levi,
Yeah.
Pascal,
Oh yeah.
Maximus.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally.
I mean, Mandy Moore is perfect as Rapunzel. She is.
She's really good. Yeah.
Her voice is perfect. She sounds incredible when she sings. She has a great theatrical voice for this. I think her voice acting is really great. She really, really leans into the starstruck, never seen the world before kind of a vibe in a really great way. And
She's super talented, man.
She's
really good.
talented. And she married what's his face from Dawes. So
Dawes himself.
Dawes, Mr. Daw.
Mr. Dawes.
And then Zachary Levi, I didn't know he could sing.
Guys,
Until
Zachary
this.
Levi is my super pump for this movie.
Okay. Yeah. Valid.
Awesome.
I think it's his performance as Flynn that I think makes Flynn actually likable. Because
Agreed.
as written, I think Flynn could come across as a huge jerk. But
Agreed.
Yeah.
I am fully in the same camp as every 7-year-old kid who watches this and is like, I want to be Flynn when I grow up because Flynn's cool. Flynn's just cool. And I hate that I feel that way because I think it's a sort of a lack of maturity to point at Flynn and be like, he's the coolest and nicest person because he's really not that nice of a person. You know what I mean? It's kind of the Han Solo thing of if my wife ever said, I love you, and I said, I know back, she'd kick me in the shin. That's awful. But in a movie, you're like, that guy's the coolest guy in the world. And Flynn totally feels like he fits that Han Solo kind of that's what they were going for. And it just
Really good.
It works so well for me in this.
Yeah, and it's funny. Flynn for me works equally well when he is full of himself and trying to swashbuckle.
Yeah.
When he's trying to deliver the smolder and all that stuff. He works equally well there as he does when he is being Eugene, genuine. And I think you're right. I think Zachary Levi is the one he's the difference maker there, who can deliver some gravity when necessary.
Zachary Levi is climbing my list of people that I undyingly love in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The handsomest man, the talentedest man. He's funny.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Shout out to
wish I had it and not him.
Shout out to Anna Guthrie, who is one of our chunkies. She was reaching out to Two Chunks as the podcast, and her and I actually just had a Zachary Levi fan club conversation a couple of days ago, and she was like, you have to check out Chuck. And I'd never seen Chuck, and so that was kind of maybe where Zachary Levi got his start before people knew it was a start. But yeah, he's pretty well-rounded, and he's
sort
doing
of good
a lot
at everything.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Shazam.
I haven't either.
And I heard it was great. I think I'm just so disgusted with.
I'm tired of DC.
Yeah, I have a DC hang
anything
up.
on that side. But he does such a good job, and I love that they didn't. I guess Mandy Moore is the closest thing to A-list in this cast, but really we didn't have just these. It's not Tom Hanks. It's not
Right.
even like a Ray Romano, right? I know that feels weird to say, but I think there's something about making it not incredibly recognizable that just really made this feel more like a pretty a story you could get lost in. And so Mandy Moore actually beat Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell, both tried out for this role, and obviously they would later get their own little duo in Frozen. But yeah, understandably.
I'm glad that Mandy won out for this. I think that she delivers Rapunzel better than either of those two could have.
Yeah, I agree completely.
This is a really great role for her. I'm gonna super pump now because I just need to talk about it. I've Got a Dream is the best thing in this entire movie to me.
Yeah, that's a wonderful
The
sequence.
whole scene.
I love that.
What is it? The ugly
The something duckling.
Snuggly Duckling.
The snuggly duckling.
Snuggly duckling.
Basically, from the moment he sets eyes on that place and is like, oh yeah, you're gonna love it. Like all the dialogue, the song, everybody's revealed secret
says,
dreams.
I don't know, but somehow it just smells like the color brown.
That's such a
the
good
funniest
line.
line in this movie to me.
Yeah,
It's such a funny movie.
it's a very funny movie. But this scene in The Snuggly Duckling, it just characterizes pretty much every major player in the movie in a pretty great way. We get and the song, but everything else that goes on there. We get Rapunzel just kind of bringing out the best in people by being interested. Like she's just sort of like, "What's your deal?" And everybody's like, "You actually want to know? Okay, great." And then
you want to know?
they all go into everything that makes them them. It sets up our great repeat at the end when they're the ones who bust Flynn out of prison. It lets us see Flynn kind of being genuine, but also kind of trying to still trick Rapunzel into going back home. Like, it's also fun, but then we also get Mother Gothel shows up. We get the guards and Maximus run in to try and track them. Like, every major player gets time to shine here, but also gets a little more characterized. And I just think it is such an economic use of 6 minutes of screen time.
Efficient is the word that keeps coming to mind.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you do so much with so little actual time?
Yeah. It's impressive to me.
Yeah, it's I think fantasy a lot of the times can be served really well. Like, I think there's two kinds, right? We've got our sweeping fantasy landscapes of like Lord of the Rings and things like that.
Right.
And even probably like How to Train Your Dragon. But then you have what feels like a one-act play, which is like Princess Bride. You know, Tangled very much. When you have everybody coming in and we kind of see the entire ensemble within 5 to 10 minutes, that's just such a good vibe for me. And they really do. I'm glad you brought up the characterization. They do such a good job of that pretty consistently. I agree. Know. And I mean, this is some of our best nonverbal characters that we've ever had. I think Maximus and Pascal are way up there in terms of a duo.
When Pascal wakes up Flynn by shoving his tongue into his ear and then does it again the second time, but it happens off camera, but you know exactly what happens. Like, that's perfect. That's so good.
It's so good.
I mean, it's no Pascal, but I mean,
Pascal on the frying pan staring him down. And then like looking up and down and then like looking back at Rapunzel and then one of his eyes comes back before both of them do. Like,
Oh my goodness.
It's just blocked pretty brilliantly.
I feel the same way about Maximus's funniest scene to me is when Flynn is hiding in the cave and we see him silhouetted outside of the greenery and his head just keeps whipping around looking for Flynn.
Yeah.
It's perfect, dude.
Every time I watch this movie, I'm surprised. I always feel like there's way more Maximus like being on the good guy side than there actually is in the movie.
It's only about the last third.
Yeah, it's like the third act really is when he switches over. I always like, every time I think of this movie, I'm like, they leave the tower and pretty much immediately start hanging out with Maximus.
Yeah. And Maximus, I had brought him up during Big Hero 6 because it was like, this was a side character that said not a single word and had far more character development than 4 of the Big Hero 6 that we had. And so I think there's something about that duo, and I was trying to compare them to just other Disney duos in general, not main characters, so your side characters. So like Cogsworth and Lumiere, or Timon and Pumbaa and things like that. And there's something about, really this would be closer to like Flit and who is the Pocahontas? That's 2 characters that don't say words.
Miko, the raccoon.
Miko and Flit, and so I
think something to be said for side characters like this, like big, small, intense, aloof, like two different sizes, 2 different personalities that come together to create this whole? Like, is there something there?
I think there probably is. Yeah, especially with it sounds very Sesame Street, but there's a lot of humor in shapes. I think
totally.
Part of what makes that the Snuggly Duckling work too is I just want to pause and look at all these guys.
Every single
person of these guys are so weird. Yeah.
It's
I
so
found out
fun.
that the little old man is Paul F. Tompkins, who is a man that I find so
amazing. I didn't realize that.
And I just think
I got a dream.
Dude.
You got a dream.
And he goes, knife. It's just great. And him at the end with what's the password? He says, open the door. He goes, not even close.
Not even close. One last thing, well, for now, about Pascal and Maximus is that I think what makes them so good in this is that they're a 100%. They're a 10 for 10. Like they are not. There is not a single moment that it just feels like they're being overused or sticky or something like that. And I think that's such a testament to.
In fact, I would say underutilized on purpose. Like I want more of them in a good way. I'd never got tired of them.
Yeah, Pascal almost has the same amount of screen time though as Rapunzel.
Yeah,
like he's always with her.
Yeah.
He's an Iago basically, and so it's like he's
a flounder.
He's a flounder.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's so good.
Something else that gets a lot of screen time that I just love as a way to make a children's movie a little more friendly is the emphasis on the cast iron skillet as a weapon.
Yeah, that's really fun.
I am typically one who scoffs at the ways that movies get around violence. Like sort of like it annoys me when movies are like, oh, it's violent, but also it's kid safe. But this is like
the Batman thing, like it shoots rubber bullets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But this is such a great way to have these fight scenes, which I mean, if you get smacked with a cast iron skillet, you're probably going to die anyway, but not in this world.
That's rough.
She's so strong.
She's so strong.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be blindly grasping for super dumps. This is not going to be my super dump. That it's unrealistic that she can just swing it so much and
pull
hold
Mother
it all the
Gothel
time.
all the way up to the tower with just her arms.
Yeah, it's
she's just shredded.
She's very strong.
We've seen her arms.
Very strong.
She's not shredded.
Her muscles are magic too.
Can we talk a little bit about Mother Gothel?
Yeah, I'd love to.
This is a great antagonist.
Wonderful, yeah.
She is, the casting here is also really good because this is just basically somebody who, yes, has a pretty long credit list of movies, but it's just very much a stage actress.
Yeah,
and that is a testament to how much they wanted to really lean this into being a musical. I think a lot of the times with some Disney movies, and even especially when we got into this kind of animation, it was just like songs for the sake of money grab.
Yeah, here's our song break.
Songs here feel very like narratively important.
Mother Knows Best
foundational.
is an incredible song.
Yeah, that's really good.
It is. It kind of feels like Master of the House a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Master of the House. But yeah, it's so good. I think something too that happened with animated movies. You know, we can come back to Toy Story and seeing that, and there was just this fascination of never experiencing anything like it. But as things start to get better in terms of our animation style, I think it just goes unnoticed, and I think that's what their intention is. But blocking, right? You still have to block these characters, and the way that they move. This is just one of the non-verbally funniest, most thoughtful movies that I think that we've seen in terms of the Pixar series, and it's just so
yeah. I think I agree. It
makes so much sense.
It is pretty perfectly paced.
Yeah,
how do you like that alliteration?
Perfectly paced.
It never feels slow. It never gets boring to me. I am always even. I would say the moment that we hit pause the hardest is earned. It's the lanterns. That's sort of the moment that we slow down and kind of sit in something for the longest amount of time in this movie. But it feels good because we've been rooting for Rapunzel to get to this point. And I actually love the conversation about what if it isn't everything I wanted it to be, or maybe even worse, what if it is and I'm just done?
Yeah.
I think that's a really mature theme to have in a children's movie. Like the idea of, did I peak at 18? Like, is my dream finished? And his insistence that like, well, you just get to move on to something else. I think that's really great. I also think this is, I tend to look at children's movies through the lens of like, will I want my future children to watch this? Like, is this something that I would let them watch and not feel like I have to be like, no, it's just a fun one, this one. Like, I feel like this is a movie with a message that I could watch and just let it ride and they'd be fine. They could process it however they want. And I think that's really great in a kid's movie that it communicates so clearly something so positive.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, I think this to me sort of threads the needle on, in particular with the Disney princess movies, trying to weigh like, is this something that I would want? Is this a message that I would want a little girl to grow up hearing,
Right.
or anybody to grow up hearing, really? But I think in particular, little girls able to watch it and say like, oh, Rapunzel has agency and she wants more things than to just kiss the hot guy.
Right.
And so maybe as a person, you should want more things than to just kiss the hot person.
Yeah.
You can also want to kiss
You
the
can
hot
also
person.
want to kiss
Yeah,
the hot
it's fine.
person. Kissing hot people's great, but other stuff's great too.
Yeah. Like lanterns and frying pans.
I think that scene at the very end, I always want to call it scene 8 from Tangled because, funny story, it's scene 8 on the DVD. We have some good friends whose kids every single night before they went to bed, that would be like their like getting ready for bed songs. They'd put in the DVD, they'd go to scene 8 for Tangled. And then while that was happening, they'd be like, brushing their teeth, put on their pajamas and stuff. So scene 8 from Tangled, the song that they sing in the Lanterns,
That's
is
such a pretty song.
top 10 Disney song for me. Maybe even
Really?
a top 5 Disney song
It's
for me.
so good.
It's a very good song. I haven't
I
thought
think
about
it's
its
wonderful.
placement on my list, but it's a really good song.
I think it's wonderful. It gets kind of randomly stuck in my head. We've talked about that before, how there's just songs that are just like seem to just happen into your head.
They just jump
This one's
up there.
Yeah, this one's about once every 2 weeks. It just that one's
I've seen that movie 3 times.
Mine is
I,
pretty frequently the Six Flags song from the commercial. I'll be
that's
brushing my
awful.
teeth.
So sorry.
I'll be brushing my teeth and just be like,
Oh, that's awful.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's really bad. And last I've seen the light. So there's Chelsea and I are going to be at Disney in a couple weeks. It's just perfect during
First
the series.
time, huh? Never been?
First time out. So we're excited to try all the things, ride Superman, all that stuff. Titan.
Yeah. Totally.
And so one of the things that they won't have right now is the fireworks show because that encourages people to be like sardines, which as I look back in situations like that are really meaningful to me, I'm like, we would have all died. That's a super spreader event now.
Yeah, sure.
But have y'all been to Disney World recently? Have y'all seen the fireworks show at Disney World at
Yes.
Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
I went in 2010.
Okay.
I went in
so-
2016 with like the
Okay, so-
projection on the castle. And
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. The
It's
projection on the
unbelievable.
castle, there's a moment where that song comes up and it's At Last I've Seen the Light, and these lanterns are coming from the bottom of that. And it's one of maybe 8 times that I get emotional in that fireworks show.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is one of those songs that I'm like, I think it's just because culture didn't give it big time Disney credit.
Right.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, there's always a little bit of a surprise. It's like, why don't we talk enough about this song in particular?
Dude,
because
it's-
it really is beautiful.
It's because this came out and then immediately was overshadowed by Frozen.
Yes, correct.
It's people forget about this, I think.
Correct.
That's so-
and yet,
that is- yeah.
I feel like I have friends with daughters who it's a 50-50 split, whether it's Frozen or Tangled, they're obsessed with. I just feel
Really?
like Frozen
Nobody likes
overshadows.
Moana? Moana's my favorite.
No, every kid likes Moana. Moana's the new one that
Hey, you know
everybody
who
loves.
doesn't like Moana?
Who?
Our listeners.
Get out of here.
Well, I was just about to credit them for also having the same opinion we did about Frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen's not.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Good for
Spoiler,
you guys.
spoiler alert. I promise that we're not going to talk about Frozen after this or the week after. So don't worry about
Frozen
that.
ain't even up here.
And Frozen's not bad. It's just, I think something happened. I don't know. It was a perfect storm. Something happened that this movie just made $1 billion. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's just
I don't know
good.
what it was.
Man, and you talking about Disney World, it's so funny. Disney, and prepare your duh buttons, I guess. But Disney World is such a perfect, like, boiled down microcosm of Disney as a whole in the sense that like, walking through Disney World, it's like at any given moment, based on a building, a smell, a look, a song, a character, whatever, an interaction I see a kid having, like I could either be like, oh, let's go on Space Mountain, or I could be like sniffling and wiping a tear from under my eye. Like, and that's how Disney movies are to me too. Like Tangled, something like this can take me from like, to like, oh no, so fast and so well. And Disney, it's not like Disney has the market cornered on broad spectrum of emotions, but they are maybe the best at it pound for pound.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know who else I would say, especially just across the board consistent.
Yeah.
The board being whatever age you are.
Yeah.
I think there's even people that maybe didn't necessarily grow up. I didn't have the Disney Channel. I had Disney movies, but it wasn't as ingrained in me the Disney culture. First time I ever go to Disney World, I was like 27 years old, and I was having just as much fun. There's something about watching people have those experiences. Speaking of experiences with Tangled, Tangled holds so many special places in my heart.
Yeah.
I have, they're the best public bathrooms at Disney World.
That's true.
At Magic Kingdom are in that little village that is basically ripped from this movie.
Is it Aurora?
Wow.
Is that the kingdom in Tangled? Is it Aurora?
That sounds right, but Aurora is also the princess from Sleeping Beauty, right?
Yeah, but I think
Corona.
Yikes.
Guys.
When you're here.
Guys.
Oh,
Wow, that's why we love it. Dadgummit.
man, much like
You can grab anything you like from the cooler, as long as it's the Kingdom of Corona from the 2010 hit animated movie Tangled.
I was cooking up in my cast iron skillet a good transition for shout announcements, but
Go.
I think Vin is just really the best way to take us there.
Time to go to shout announcements and make a little bit of money.
Welcome to shout announcements. It's the shout out part and the announcement part. We don't really do shout outs anymore.
Straight up, it is not the shout out part.
I just like
That
the
ship
name.
has long since sailed.
I just like the name. You know what? Shout out Discord. Now it is shout announcements.
Shout out.
Shout out Discord.
Shout out Vin Diesel. Made a
Shout out
couple
Vin
real
Diesel.
bad singles on Spotify, but I still listen to him.
Let's start doing shout outs again.
Yeah.
It
Carter,
can be
who do you
whatever
wanna
we want.
shout out?
Yeah, you
Who
shout
do you
somebody
want?
out.
Man, dude, I just want to say there's probably no one on this earth in this moment that I appreciate more than Lauren Anderson, who is the aforementioned Disney trip that I'm going on. There was this crazy thing that happened that through a mutual friend found out that Lauren, known as I think it's Ren Andy Travel,
Okay.
is her Instagram account.
Okay.
Ended up being put with Chelsea and I to help plan our trip to Disney.
Baller.
And so shout out.
She's a listener
Shout out
too.
Lauren. Yeah, that's the
big
crazy
stuff.
stuff. Is like
I mean, that's big stuff, but virtually
she knew
everyone
our
is
heart.
at this point.
Yeah, pretty much
I know,
everybody's a
it's
listener.
tough to avoid it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
But
nationwide,
yeah, shout out to her.
worldwide.
Nonstop.
Shout out again to Anna Guthrie, who's just a big Levi head. You know, she's a big
Levi head.
big Levi head. And
Loves
so thank
two
you for-
things in this
for
life: jeans and Zachary Levi.
Jeans and Zachary Levi.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
If you want to shout out by becoming somebody we love, I can't. This did asterisk.
there's nothing.
This does not guarantee a shout out. But if you want to become somebody that we love very deeply, rate and review this podcast. It helps us out, maybe more than anything else, honestly, that you could do, because that helps with algorithms. And everything these days comes down to algorithms. So the better and more frequent rating and reviewing that we get on specifically iTunes, the higher we climb in the charts because we get exposed to more people. And that's a huge deal for us. So if you like this show, it would be honestly huge if you could do that for us.
Yeah, if you want to champion our efforts in Australia, which right now is our second highest listening country
Wild.
in the world.
Hey there.
Hey, also good day,
rate and
mates.
review. Good day, mates. Speaking of mates, shout out to your mates about this podcast. It really is always going to be. We used to be a budding podcast. We're kind of past the timeline of
blooming.
budding.
We're blooming.
We're blooming now, which is full circle with our Australian friends, the Blooming Onion. Thanks for everything. that you've
Thanks for
done.
the blooming onion, guys.
Thanks for everything that you've done. That's probably the number one thing, the number one export, not from Australia, is the Bloomin' Onion. But yeah, just tell people about us. It is still always going to be a very much word of mouth, letting people know about that. I can't wait for the day until I want it to be out there so much that someone finds one of the four of us, me, Adam, Jordan, or Doge, and recommends this podcast to us. I can't wait for that day. I hope that day comes.
The serpent must eat its tail, and then we can
Yes.
rest.
I would love that. So that's what we're shooting for. I don't know how to quantify it or how to get us there, but it's definitely going to need at least you to tell people about this podcast.
It's true.
Guys, we planned out shout announcements before we started talking, and I have something I'm supposed to say, but I did just look at our reviews on the Apple Store, and somebody has put me on blast in a way that hurts my heart. This iTunes user says things I've learned from this podcast. 1, most movies are in a 3-act structure. 2, don't eat orange chicken out of the trash. And listen, I'm trying to live that down.
You never will.
This is a new me. Listen, and this
amazing.
This bacteria, this microbe, this virus conscious boy is completely appalled that I ever ate that chicken.
That is crazy.
And
man.
I would like us all
now that I think about it.
Let's agree as a podcast, as Chunk Nation, as Discordians, to let this go.
Nope.
This never happened.
Nope. No
thanks.
can-do skis.
Coming in here with this Trojan horse and the announcements trying to get us to make promises. Not happening.
We would love it if you could promise us that you'd vote in our next series. The next realm that we're moving to once we're done here in the kingdom of Corona, which also sounds like it could be the name of a John Mayer album about the last year. Mm-hmm. Once we're done here in the kingdom of Corona, we're actually we're headed on over to Return to the Summer of Love. The roots of romance are planted deep within our hearts. And so we're very excited to return back to that realm. And we're going to be putting together a list of romance movies for you to choose from. That poll will be live on our website. You can head over to twochunksandahunk.com/vote. And that poll is open from Tuesday, May 11th to Tuesday, May 18th. You've got a full week to vote for that stuff. So if you're listening to this on release day, and obviously you should, you love us, this is what you're doing with part of your Tuesday. The poll's open now, and you can go vote. And if you are a Patreon supporter at any level, at our $3 level or our $5 level, you get a second vote in this poll. And that proved to be really crucial, actually, in our Pix Aren't series.
Yep.
Our first 2 movies that we talked about would not have been in there without the input of our folks who get a second vote. So if you're considering becoming a member or upgrading your membership, now's a great time to do that. If you're a Patreon supporter at the $5 tier, not only do you get access to the bonus episodes and the bonus vote that our $3 folks get, you also get invited to a private Discord server with yours truly, Carter's truly, Jordan's truly, and Adam's truly, all a part of it. And we've had some great conversations there. Have unfortunately seen more Minion memes than I would care to admit.
Banana.
Unreal amounts.
But it's a good time. And we would love to have you join us over there on Discord. Can we be done?
Yeah.
Is that it?
You did good, man. I'd like to super dump now, and I'm going to do it now.
Do it. I'm curious. I'm very curious what this is.
How dare you introduce...
Get ready for me to jump right on this because I still don't have one. Just saying.
How dare you introduce such a rich, incredible town, such as the town surrounding the castle of Corona, and only spend one song in it. How dare you? That place is magical, and I want to be there for so much longer. It's an 80-minute movie. Let's add some time on, spend a little more time in that town.
Hey, I've spent about 14 months in the kingdom of Corona.
Nice.
And it sucks.
Nice. But I'm talking about the fictional one from this movie, and I can't believe we walk in the front gates and hang out in the town square and call it a day.
And you know what's wild?
Tell me.
That also happens to be my super dump. I feel the exact... I have felt this way for
minutes
now.
Wow.
The same way. Like, it was so pretty.
Do you want me to give you another option to jump to, Carter?
Yes, but listen, I've already said what my super dump is for the second time.
I guess so.
Are you ready to super dump now?
I am ready to super
that'd be
dump.
great. That'd be great for
It's
me.
nitpicky, and then Carter, I guess you can weigh it out. You're going to a buffet.
I mean, I'll lay it out. I've
pizza
been
on one
pretty
side,
set in my ways.
chicken
for now.
fried steak on the other. You get to pick what you're going to eat.
Dang.
It's like Air Bud. You got to choose the clown or the kid.
Gosh.
My super dump is that Mother Gothel did not change Rapunzel's birthday. What a weird way to like. I'm gonna kidnap
so
you.
good.
I'm gonna kidnap you as a baby, but I'm
That's
not
so
going
good.
to change your name or your birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
That's
Wild.
a great point.
Every time I watch this movie and she's like, the lanterns appear on my birthday. I'm like, how do you know what a birthday is? Why did she teach you about birthdays?
Yeah, Gothel was not doing too well in
That's a good point.
covering up her tracks.
That's a good point.
That's a great point.
I
think
and like
that's my
that's
super dumb
nitpicky,
now.
but also how much more of an impactful reveal of that if Rapunzel's like it's on Lantern Day every year. It's just a day that I've noticed all these things go into the sky. It's Lantern Day, and then she gets there and she's like, "What is Lantern Day?" And they're like, "You mean the princess's birthday?" She's like, "That's the lost princess's birthday." Why do I feel so drawn to Lantern Day every year? I don't know. I just feel like there's like that was like maybe one script revision away from making complete sense, and as it stands right now, it makes no sense.
There's a couple funny little things like that, like when she realizes that she's the lost princess, and the movie's like, all right, let's give them like 10 seconds of flashbacks so that they can put it together about 1 second before she puts it together. In case,
Right.
in case the monologue at the beginning didn't reveal everything to you.
Yeah. Did she accidentally include the logo of the Kingdom of Corona in the
Right.
negative space in all her paintings?
Right, exactly.
And that was a subconscious memory
It's
of
hereditary.
the thing that hung over
Yes.
her crib.
Logos
Yes,
are
and then-
hereditary.
That is
And
wild.
then there's a
That's
moment
wild.
then there's a moment that Odin is like, no, not behind that curtain, and it's Hela. It's like her whole. It's like she had a whole history too.
Yeah, there's a couple of those things in this movie that they don't hold up, and it's fine. It's not like immersion breaking or movie breaking, but they
No,
don't hold
no.
up. It has
That's
a
funny.
couple of those.
It totally slipped my mind.
Like
So,
even
now
I'll give you
never
another
unsee it.
nitpick, which is when Flynn pulls the rocks out to open the cave. He pulls a middle rock out, his arm would be crushed.
Right?
by
No, I
every
noticed
rock
that
above
too.
it.
They pulled the rocks out and then the rocks all disappear so that they're not just ground into jelly.
Right. Yeah. There's a couple things like that. The other thing I was going to point out, and this isn't a dump, I just think it's funny. Pascal's a murderer. I know that
big
Gothel
time.
didn't hit the ground, but I think murder's more about intent. Pascal is straight up a murderer.
Yeah, Pascal's the one that knocks her out of the tower. I actually that was almost my super dump. We've talked before about these roles where it's like, it doesn't feel like Pascal should be even noticed by Mother Gothel.
Right.
You know what I mean? It feels like
Yeah.
Pascal should be something that only Rapunzel and Flynn can see and interact with almost.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like she can notice a chameleon, but she shouldn't be able to understand him. I don't know. And I don't know what trope I'm asking this to be. You know, I don't know
Right.
what movie does that, but that's what it feels like it should be.
When she kicks him, though, I was like, don't you do that.
Don't you do that to my sweet
I mean,
boy.
that's like Grogo levels of like,
Yeah.
don't touch that thing.
Yes.
You can't help
Look,
it.
I'll tell you, though, I really love the scene where Flynn cuts her hair. I think it's a really well done scene with the timing. And I think it actually kind of not like comes out of nowhere like a big twist, but it's a really powerful moment for Flynn's characterization, for Eugene's characterization of like, I'd rather die than let you like stay like this.
There was also some shock to me as to like his death.
Yeah.
It just felt a little more grown up than I don't know. It was an element.
the
that
violence
was
is a lot more
shocking.
the violence is a lot more explicit than I thought because
Yeah.
Mother Gothel's like straight up, he will be hanged, and we see the noose where our main character is going to go die in
Yeah.
an animated Disney movie, and we see
Yeah.
his blood. He gets stabbed. Like
Yeah, like
Yeah,
blood.
it's a
like
little bit more grown
actually
up.
seeing.
yeah,
You know, that's something that like Lord of the Rings doesn't even do, even though it's super violent. There's hardly ever like red blood. It's
Right.
like
Listen, I'm playing through Shadow of Mordor right now because I'm
so
real
much
bored.
blood. So
There's
much blood.
so much blood.
Talk
in
about
that.
to turn your brain off and just go
For
kill
real.
everything. But yeah,
I've discovered the only video games I can play during the Kingdom of Corona are ones that are just an abject power fantasy. And so that's the one for me.
very good.
I can't control anything in my real life, so I will control this.
So I will kill about 1,000 orcs.
Wraith Wraithger?
I don't know. Listen, man, it's incredibly disrespectful to everything Tolkien ever wrote, but it's a fun little game.
It is a fun little game.
It's Assassin's Creed Mordor edition, essentially.
It's Assassin's Creed Mordor Arkham.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Mordor Arkham. Yeah, I think something else that's while we're talking about stuff that is done differently than a lot of other kids' movies, the escape from prison, the action's like pretty fun to watch. Like when they're actually like beating up the guards and getting everybody out of there, it's pretty impressive.
My favorite piece of action is actually when Maximus and Flynn are having a sword,
fight. Yeah.
And Maximus has the sword in his teeth and Flynn has
The frying
a
pan.
cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he pauses and just like, you should know, this is the strangest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And then
That's
they keep
some
fighting.
big Princess Bride energy right there, man.
Completely.
So
This
much.
feels like equal parts like Princess Bride, Shrek, and like Sleeping Beauty or something, you know?
Yeah.
When he
Mel
when
Brooks,
he
it's-
hits
it's
us with the like
Yeah,
with the
totally.
like I gotta get me one of these. That's very much the I am not left-handed of this movie.
Yeah. I would even throw in a sprinkling of Indiana Jones too. It has kind of in its action sequences, in its the woman is just beating everybody up too. You know, it's just like it's so fun.
I think in
it's a
particular
word I
Indiana
love.
Jones.
It's swashbuckling. It's a word I really love.
Yeah.
Cutthroat Island, that's another one that's just
Yeah, totally Cutthroat
Classic.
Island. Exactly.
Classics.
I don't know how. It's amazing that we got here to Cutthroat Island, but I have something to share with y'all. I was watching. It's way out of left field. Watching Trial of Chicago 7. Have y'all seen that?
Not
I
yet.
haven't.
The
my
judge
list.
in the movie is incredibly despicable. He's awful, and it was just in the back of our minds. And Chelsea was like, "Where have we seen this guy?" And it was the villain from Cutthroat Island.
So good. Perfect.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Something dog, right?
It's something dog. It might just be dog, but
I think it's Mad
The Bounty
Dog.
Hunter.
Or like Wet Dog.
Ooh, I think it's Mad Dog. I don't know. I have to. Has everyone else super pumped?
I have.
Yeah.
I haven't super pumped.
You have one though?
I do have a legitimate super pump.
And it's
I
that this
promise.
movie didn't get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. It's that we're starting a petition, and it's going to be live on the website. Go ahead and give Tangled a posthumous.
Go to twochunksandahunk.com/change.org/tangled is good to find our poll.
The reuniting of Rapunzel with her parents is something transcendent over a Disney animated movie. It is so very thoughtful. You know, we talked about nonverbal characters in this. We never hear a word from her parents.
I think that's the right move.
I think it's a brilliant move. I think it's a perfect move. I think just them running through the halls of their castle,
High school.
going outside. I know. I knew I blew it the moment I said that.
They're gonna bust down the double door.
I'm just making sure to give you guys plenty of time for the rest
Thanks.
of the song.
The John Mayer usually takes about 20 minutes to get to the end of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Them running out to just see Rapunzel and Flynn kind of just looking out and kind of soaking in that they got here, they did this. And then it really is a lot of time that we spend with mom going up first and then dad coming in and then mom pulling in Flynn, and they just become this family in maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah. But it's really sweet.
It is one of the most perfectly tied narrative bows of a Pixar movie that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
To just have that reuniting, and it still felt like it carried so much weight. You know, this is a girl that we haven't seen. What is it? Is she supposed to be like 16 or 17?
18. She's 18.
So 18. Good. Thank you, Disney. Thank
Yeah, the way
you
it's
for-
not nasty that she falls in love with Flynn, right?
for 18 years, and to have mom and daughter look alike, and there's the rumors that mom still looks so young because, you know, she obviously drank that magic
interesting.
flower. But I just think it's perfect. And going back to the theater experience I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, where it was me and my dad, and then my mom and her friend. Dad and I are just bouncing, crying. Like our shoulders are just going up and down, weeping. And my mom and her friend look over and they're like, wow, y'all need to get a grip. Because we were like, it got me. It got me big. And a lot of it did have to do with, where did this movie come from? you know,
totally.
And that was just, again, that bow was tied, and it was really a perfect ending for me.
I thought it was a weird choice to end the movie with Mandy Moore reprising her song from The Princess Diaries.
Yeah, that's
weird.
shocking.
It was weird to me how it ended, because, you know, all animated movies, all good ones, they end with like a big dance number to like a pop song.
Did you
And
watch
so
the post credits?
It was just weird to me that it ended with, you know, Rapunzel coming out. She's like, "Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me."
Did you watch the post credits? So they explain it. Because an ambassador from Genovia comes and they're like, we would like to begin diplomatic relations with you.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So she was.
And also, this is called a phone. You guys are going to love this.
Yeah, no, that's really great. That's a really great point that I didn't think of. I would be remiss if we remissed the opportunity to talk about Ron Pearlman as the thug.
twins.
I don't remember who plays the other thug.
It's
But
Pearlman for both of them.
is it really?
Pearlman's both. He plays both Stabbington brothers.
Yeah, because they're twins.
Stabbington Brothers is such a good name.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he is. He's really good, man. I like Ron Pearlman a lot. I think that his voice is pretty excellent. As somebody who is scary,
As he can't. I don't think he can do not scary though, huh?
that's probably.
Have we ever seen him do not scary?
That's probably
Probably not.
pretty accurate. Yeah, he definitely has a niche.
He's quite scary as Hannibal Chow in Pacific Rim, which is the best name of any character in any movie at any point in time.
I just said the Stabbington Brothers out loud, and you're going to come at me.
Oh
with
yeah,
some
no, that's really
blasphemy
good.
like that.
That's really good. Does he always have the best names in everything he's in?
Dude. He might.
Probably.
Has he ever had a bad name? Ron Pearlman's even real
Ron
cool.
Pearlman is even a good name. Yeah, I think he just has like a. It's probably somewhere in his contract. Like, gotta have a cool
Boy?
name.
Heck Boy's cool.
H-E double hockey sticks boy, dude, is pretty cool, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think every character that actually gets time in the sun is fantastic in this movie. Like, I think this is a pretty dang near like perfect animated film.
I was about to say, like, this is one of the few movies that I can remember watching recently, certainly so far as part of the series, where it was incredibly difficult to identify a miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think even Carter's episode-long struggle really serves to illustrate that. Of like, what is actually wrong with this movie that's not just a nitpick?
Yeah, it started to drift into the existential there for a little bit. But we're back and we're okay. Hey, and the other thing that's okay is rating this movie.
The thing that's okay
it's
is
okay
the
to rate
scale.
it. It's
we
okay
worked
to
really
rate it.
hard on.
Before we
And-
do that, can I give you a few lists of names of Ron Pearlman characters?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Please.
The Admiral,
Yep.
Bandit,
Cool.
Charlie Storm,
Yes.
That's good.
Big Graham,
I like
yes.
Brock,
Okay.
General Pershing,
that. And we're back.
Asher, Optimus Primal. Amazing. There's a lot.
Optimus Primal. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Guys, he's got the coolest. Okay. If you're listening to this and you can find
Ron.
if you're a listener, you're listening to this and you can find a Ron Pearlman movie or a role where he does not have a cool name, I'll Venmo you money for lunch.
What?
Whoa. Who gets to decide if it's cool?
Me.
No.
You guys do then.
Okay, me and Carter.
Yeah. You guys get to decide if it's cool.
Okay.
And listen, you know I'm not exactly in the most cash liquid stage of my life, so you can't screw me.
Because your cash is all tied up in liquid right now. That's a joke about a horrible thing. Anyway, let's rate this movie.
I mean, it's not that bad. My air conditioner leaked on my house. It's fine.
It's
We're
horrible.
getting it fixed.
It's horrible. Let's rate this movie using science, the same science that will be used to repair Doge's air conditioner and save his life.
Hey, I hope it's not that science. I
Hey.
would like some better science.
Our science is perfect.
Please.
Our science is perfect and as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it.
Buy that poster.
The next best thing is buy it. That's followed by rent it and then stream it. After that is forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie.
God hath forsaken us.
I'll go first.
Oh.
I'm
buying the poster.
Did we all say it?
No, I was trying to be respectful, but I'm buying the poster.
Yeah. It's pretty perfect, guys. Like,
Yeah,
it
if you want
really
to know
is.
if you want to know why I'm buying the poster,
Listen to the whole episode.
yeah, I've got about 50 minutes of podcast for you to listen to.
Yeah, it's pretty dang near a perfect animated film.
This is one of the movies that I would be willing to put my debate shoes on
Yeah.
if someone had something that they legitimately didn't like.
Yeah, I think me too.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much for me to put those shoes on.
Maybe something that would affect their watching experience, like because we had to come up with super dumps and Jordan and I had one and Doge had one and they ended up being kind of like silly and what we wanted more of. But like if someone had a legitimate, they felt like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like Flynn was a good character. Yeah.
Nah,
There's things that I find myself possibly being offended. So that's how I know I
dare
definitely
you.
buy the poster here.
It'd have to be something personal, right? Though it'd have to be like, I asked Mandy Moore to prom and she said no.
Right.
So I hate this movie
I would take
now.
that. Or like, I have a deep fear of chameleons, so I can't watch
Exactly.
this movie. Yeah. something like
Zachary
that.
Levi ran into my car and drove away without giving me his insurance.
There's no
money.
way he would do
He
that.
would never
That would
do
be
that.
fiction.
He's perfect.
I would call that person a liar. He would never do that. Look, I think what we're discovering is that this is, I don't want to call it a hidden gem because everybody's seen it. Like people know Tangled, but
I think it's underrated though.
that's the perfect word for it. And I hate how frequently that word is abused to just say, I like something. But yeah, this is a very underrated Disney classic.
Because when you think of when people think what's the best princess movie of the 21st century, people are going to say Frozen.
They're going to say Frozen, but I think I would rather watch
not.
this than any of the Disney princess movies.
Dude, I would go watch this again right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big words.
I know, but I think I really would. I think I would rather rewatch this
what
unless we're
movies
counting
are-
like Moana.
Yeah. So what movies are in that? Moana's, I guess, not technically a princess.
Well, there's all the
but
princess classics.
sort of. Yeah.
Mulan's not really a princess.
Beauty and the Beast. I love Beauty and the Beast.
I like Beauty and the
Is in
Beast a
there.
lot. That's
Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty, Princess
Yeah,
and
I
the
like this
Frog.
better. I like this better than all the ones that y'all are saying.
Yeah.
well, look, that's a pretty tight bow on the end of this discussion. Make sure you come back next week for when we talk about the second place winner of the Pixar series. That's How to Train Your Dragon, and I am.
Yeah,
Have we all
I'm
have we all
excited.
seen it?
Oh yeah.
Carter, have you seen it? Okay, yeah, I'm so excited. Callie and I have already discussed just going ahead and probably watching all three of these.
I haven't seen the third one.
haven't
You
either.
should see the third one.
I might do a triple feature.
You should watch the third one. Yeah, I'm excited. Jump on Discord, please. It's fun. I love talking.
so fun.
I'm such a bad texter, and it translates to Discord, and I feel so bad about it. But I read everything. I read every message in there, and I try and respond to ones that got thrown by the wayside. I'm so sorry, but jump on. It's really great. I really enjoy it. To end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and which famous fairy tale we would like to see Disney Animation take on with their own little spin. For Two Chunks and a Hunk, I'm Jordan Wonders, and I think sort of an irreverent family comedy styled Hansel and Gretel would be very interesting in this animation style.
I'm Doge.
I do too.
I was going to pitch that Disney make a film called Hanson and Gretel. And it's just all Hanson songs.
Except it's like, kids, shoo-be-dop,
Yep.
kids. I like to
Yep.
eat kids,
Kids.
Yep.
I like to eat kids. I'm Carter, and you said it has to be a fantasy story.
Just a fairy tale. It could be a modern fairy tale. It could be William and Kate's beautiful love story that transcend the ages.
The transcend the ages. Let's spend some time with Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Okay.
You know,
I like that.
but just be true to the story though. So maybe it's probably like a 5 or 6 minute.
Yeah. Respect the lore. Don't go adding all this Disney nonsense.
No, we don't want the nonsense.
yeah, I just, in fact, make it live action. In fact, make it a book. I'd like a book, please.
Also, actually, let's find a creative way to actually have there be a lesson in that story. Because from what I understand, it's like, hey, don't
steal
trespass.
porridge.
It's like just basically the Goldilocks.
I think the lesson is know what you want and be unafraid to claim it.
Don't trust blondes.
Dang. There it is.
And don't trust blonde people.
So I can't,
Exactly.
between that and Gone Girl, I can never talk to my wife again.
Sorry, dude.
Yes.